give them a quick tutorial on. Oh god, Discord's open. Okay, let's start this again. A gold strategy plan, like what to do in gold or silver, and giving those type of strats, where all these monsters have, 3 different abilities because they've already hit, like the commons have gone past the level 5 mark. But that's not really helpful for a new beginner. But I also want to give a better strategy than just telling people, oh, you should put a tank in the front, assassins in the middle, magic in the middle, and then archers in the back. I want to give it a little bit more meat to that strategy. But what I thought of doing today is just going over tanks, because I think it doesn't matter if you're just starting the game or just playing in gold or playing in champs or playing diamond or silver, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is your first card in the first position in general will always be a tank. And I just want to go over some of my favorite tanks and quickly explain why. So going through fire, if it's like low level minions and there's nothing better than an 8 health 4 mana cost with heal and retaliate. I think in lower levels he'll have less HP and less damage, but he'll still be the same thing. He'll still have his heal, and he's still a good tank in the front. The classic, if you play fire and you're playing in novice and bronze, living lava is a staple. It's still a staple in gold and in silver. I play it all the time. It's probably one of my most used cards. But my actual favorite is probably Serpent of Flames. I find him so cool. For 6 mana cost, he brings the same amount of tank ability. So he's got his armor, so he can take the first shot. He's also got a nice fat 10 HP. He's got retaliate, poison, piercing. Obviously this is at a gold level, guys, so I'm not too sure what the base level one looks like. We can quickly go look. So in terms of level 1, okay, so he's a 1 for 9 with retaliate, so it's not the best because you want him to have armor. So if you can get like a level 2 one, at least that 1 armor, he can take, like a 4 damage hit from a goblin mech. He can take that 4 hit. Okay, goblin mech's got piercing, so probably goblin mech was the worst example I could give, but he's just a super strong tank to put in the front line. But I will admit, most of these cards that I recommend, you want them, like, if you're playing like level 1s and level 2s, I don't think there'll be anything better than a living lava level 2. Just that 7 HP, yeah, no. If you're playing low mana, living lava is the best tank. If you're playing higher mana, I find that I use Serpent of Flames way more. I find him so cool. He's definitely my favorite tank. And my problem with like the legendaries and stuff like that, like this is great and Taunt is fantastic, but it doesn't have shield or it doesn't have retaliate. And that 15, this is nearly half the mana, and it's got 12. So to me, it just does the same job. Okay, going through water. So in Untamed, truth be told, I don't like Serpent of Eld. I just find him too weak. I think him and the Death one I find so bad. In terms of, for 7 mana, you get a 2/5 with dodge. But if you were to compare that to the best tank, in my opinion, you get, like, just shield just makes it so much better in terms of tank. Like, dodge is good, but it's not, I don't think it covers. So better tanks, if you play like no armor, I would always go for like a sea monster, heal plus thorns, good amount of HP. So it's always good. To be honest, for gold, I've been playing a shit ton of Frozen Soldier, like 6 mana, and he brings a total of 12 tank ability to the field, plus he's got shield, plus he's got magic reflect. I think he's just so good as a frontline tank. In low levels, he might not be that good, so you might want to just use something like a Frost Giant. The Kraken's good, but if you got limited mana, I wouldn't choose Kraken, because that's 17, and he's got Taunt. So the main thing about Kraken is Taunt, but 17 hit points plus shield compared to 12 with shield and magical effect, and basically the same damage, but for half the mana. You like Frozen Soldier is really underrated. The other one that isn't in this deck is a Torhilio the Frozen. That's what I use in my silver deck, but those are pretty much some of the best tanks you can use in water. In Earth, Flesh Golem's there, boys. Has to be. You have to mention Flesh Golem when you talk about tanks. Same thing, 6 mana, 11 hit points, plus heal, plus void. Decent damage, so he's up there. Nectar Queen is good, but I would only say for Earthquake. If not, I think there's just better ones. Yeah, she's not bad. She's got way more damage than the other tanks, but she does sacrifice that for like shield, void, and other more tanky abilities. But she does have retaliate at a later level. I don't use Stone Golem, to be honest, just because even though he's got shield and a stun and 10 hit points, I get more out of a Flesh Golem, because I always combine the Flesh Golem with Spirit of the Forest, which will then give Protect plus Tank Heal, so that's just a nice little combo. Minotaur Warlord I use sometimes, but mainly just for Blast. But basically, and then Unicorn Mustang's really good, but only at high level games, because when you first start off in Novice and Bronze, remember, not many people play Magic because not many people have Magic cards. So, to summarize, Earth in terms of tanks, get a Flesh Golem. Most people play Shield Bearer, and yeah, can't complain too much about him. He's got 16 hit points, he's got Taunt, he's got Shield, very slow attack, but in terms of frontline tank, he's a great example. I'm not going to say he's a better version of... No, okay. So yeah, he's not a better version than Living Lava, purely because he doesn't get Shield until much later. He's got Taunt though, and he's just a good card to basically soak up some damage. But when I play Life, and I don't play Life a lot, I find that the Paladin is just a much better version. He's got Shield, he's got Magic Reflect, so he's basically the exact same as the Water example, where the beta tank, even though it's got much less mana cost, in my opinion, is just better. So he's got 12 hit points, plus Shield, plus Magic Reflect. Doesn't matter about the damage, ignore the damage. But that 12 compared to the 16 you get here, for 3 mana, you can do so much more. And a good example of what you can do with that 3 mana is you put in... Where's that guy with the spear? I'm blind. Yeah, you can put in just a Silver Shield Warrior, so there's 3 more damage and 8 more in the second position, even though that's 4 mana, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. You just need something to basically just soak up some damage. Some of the best tanks in Death. Truth be told, I hate with a passion. I hate Death. I'm really bad at Death. Like there's some really cool cards like Lord of Darkness, Corrupted Pegasus. There's some really sick cards in Death, but I really just hate Death. It's my least played Splinter. It's just not something I enjoy. I think when you start with a level 1 Bone Golem, I think just because no one plays Magic, Void is shit compared to Shield and the others. But it's like, he doesn't have speed like a Unicorn Mustang or damage, and he's got pretty much the lowest HP and armor for the level 7 Untamed tanks. So yeah, it's pretty shit. So a much better tank that I always use is once again, just the Alpha and Beta version. It's just the heal plus Magic Reflect plus Void. Like, this is a fantastic tank. And the reason it is, even though he doesn't have like shield, but he's super anti-magic. And then what you've got to remember is that Death, you either basically take away one of their archer damage or one of their melee damage. and then just him being anti-magic just helps that combo quite well. So he synergizes really well with it, and I think he's just overall my favorite tank. Skeletal Warrior is very cute, but nothing too amazing. And then yeah, fuck it, Lord of Darkness, because he just looks and he's got the best name. Okay, dragon tanks. Robo Dragon. I don't play Dragon a lot, to be honest. Dragon's not my favorite, and truth be told, when I do play Dragon, I won't use like a Robo Dragonite. Like, he's got Return Fire and Void, but yeah. I think there's much better tanks in this game. When you play Dragon, you use it for, or I use it for, like, having, this card is very strong, the Harpy is very strong, the Summoner is obviously broken, and then some of the magic damage or the Dragon Jumper for opportunity. But I wouldn't use any tank specifically from Dragon, though there is this new one that's coming out. If I go playable for all cards, I'm quite interested in the Gordax Soldier. I think there's potential there, basically. In terms of neutral tanks, if you're low level, get a Goblin Mech. He's very, very strong, and I think he beats pretty much all the other. Yeah, I think with a passion he beats all the other tanks, with the exception of maybe Living Lava plus somebody else behind him to protect him. Other useful tanks, if you've got the money, get a Hydra. He's super broken. If you don't want to invest in beta cards right now because you're worried that they're going to go off and cool down when Chaos Legion comes out, Chain Golem's very, very strong. It's very, very expensive right now, but it's still very, very strong. So I think Chain Golem, Hydra, Goblin Mech, Elven Defender's fucking shit. Like, do not recommend that for a tank. The Lord is very strong in terms of just what he gives you for a frontline tank. He's got the shield, he's got the void, he's got magic reflect, and he's got thorns. So in games where it's like no melee, this is probably the best tank to put in the front. And then you can give him armor and a heal, and he is not going anywhere. Super strong, but super expensive. And yeah, that's just a quick guide to the tanks. Enjoy.